Hi guys, this is Maria and Manos, and you're watching On the Couch with M&M.
The show to help you build fun and profitable businesses.
On the Couch with M&M is proudly brought to you by my admin partner and Beyond Figures Bookkeeping.
Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of On the Couch with M&M. We're in a different location today, aren't we, Maria?
Our office is getting renovated, so we're at home.
Fantastic. Thank you for joining us. Today's topic is going to be about inspiring your people in a changing market. And some people call it a challenging market, to say the least. That our bubble has burst. So our days on market have increased. Our vendors' expectations are back where they were 6 months ago. And now is the time, as a business owner, how do we inspire our people to get through what is a very normal life cycle in the sales process?
Yeah, I think the market hasn't. It's funny. I think it was Tom Panos last week that said it's gone from nuts to normal. So it's not really. It hasn't really adjusted that much. It's just it was actually quite crazy for the last 2 years. We found, obviously with days on market being so small, short, the deals were happening very quickly and it was constantly moving upwards. Managing your vendors' expectations was quite easy. I know a lot of people that haven't done a vendor feedback letter or a price adjustment for a very, very long time. So it's getting back into some different routines that we knew we used to have to obviously do before, getting back into that again. But I think the first thing is not to panic. And as a leader, first of all, you need to be inspired yourself and need to have a good strategy so your people feel like they're safe and you know what you're doing and you've got a plan to get through this time. I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, I think if you've been in the industry for more than 10 years, you would have seen what we call a number of winters, a number of autumns, a number of springs, and a number of summers. And we're just coming out of a crazy summer. That's what's really happened. So it's nothing unusual as a business owner and leader to navigate this type of market. And the first thing I believe a leader needs to do is make sure that they've got their house in order. And what I mean by that is making sure that your financial discipline is in order, that your financial baseline has been identified, making sure that your fixed expenses, your cash flow, all your upcoming settlements are accounted for, and that you're what I call operating in absolutely code red. And code red is understanding that your business needs to be operating as efficiently as possible and make sure there's no leakage in any of your business outgoings. So that's a critical
coming
component.
through a really hot market, a lot of people would have spent a little bit more here and there, maybe tried some different marketing strategies that they thought, okay, we've got the cash flow now, we might as well try this, try that. And it's just going back and looking at those and obviously adjusting and seeing where you're at. Finance is important.
Yeah, definitely. And the biggest one that we've noticed in finance, Maria, especially even in our organisation, is because days on market have extended so much.
VPA.
VPA. And VPA is no longer $500 and $1,000. We all know that most campaigns, they're long gone. Most campaigns are between $3,000 to $5,000 in any general marketplace. That's about where the campaigns are sitting. Now you need to make sure that your team members are fully aware that that is an obligation. That is a obligation on the business to make sure they manage the vendor paid advertising, because invoices are going to come in, and I know some people want to extend out their suppliers and terms of arrangement and so forth, but the best way of attacking the vendor paid advertising is ensuring that you can get it up front. And that is a strategy, that is a training component with your team to make sure that they're getting that VPA up front, depositing into sales or as soon as possible in the trust accounts. And as a leader, make sure that you're providing that support, and whether it's in the administration side, so they can address that with each individual listing that comes onto market.
It has to come from admin, I think. I can't imagine the agents trying to chase that. And we've got the systems in place where as we spend it, an invoice will go out to the vendor, or obviously if you've got it up front, it sits in the trust and then that gets spent as you go. So it is definitely an administration thing that the principal should, have that in order. And it's for your cash flow as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's number one, managing your, obviously,
I
number
think
two.
one
Number
thing-
one, your
one-
finances. Number two is your VPA.
On your finances, one thing that you forgot to mention, which you still do in our business after all these years, is you check your bills. Like no one, apart from cost every now and then, Manos is on top of that all the time.
Every single week.
Yeah, it's so important for you as a leader to know exactly where everything is going. It doesn't take long. How long does it take you in
At
QuickBooks?
most half an hour. So just to give you the logistics of what we mean by managing the invoicing that runs through our business. So we obviously have bookkeeping. We outsource all our bookkeeping to Beyond Figures Bookkeeping. There's a plug for Beyond Figures Bookkeeping. An awesome organisation. So what happens there is all invoicing gets entered into our online system. Our preferred supplier is Xero. It's a fantastic online system for your accounting packages. So what happens is they put in all the invoices into the system. On a Tuesday, I go in there and I'll look at every single invoice that's due to be paid that week.
Yeah.
And I'll check it, cross-reference it, if it's been apportioned correctly, and what the cost is. So that's number one. And then I approve it. So within half an hour. Half an hour. And that gives me a great understanding of where my business is at and the expenses that are coming out of that business.
Yeah, 100%. The second one is about training, I think, in
training.
these times, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah. So finance is number one, then training and adjusting in this marketplace is number two. Like I said before, it's been a long time since we've sat down in our training rooms to talk about, price adjustment, educating the vendor in what the market is doing, vendor feedback letters, all those sort of things. So we have to dust off all those old manuals, bring them back to life and, maybe rejig them a little bit and start talking about vendor management in this market. And obviously, as a leader, you have to be in there with the guys doing exactly what you're preaching. So if you're asking
You need to be in
them,
the trenches.
yeah, that's right.
You
But
need to be in the
also,
trenches.
if you're preaching that this is what you're doing for your vendors, weekly feedback, and all that sort of stuff, you've got to be doing it as well.
Oh, absolutely. You lead by example. You walk the talk as opposed to just talking the talk. I think that's really, really, really important. And I guess when you talk about a price adjustment system, it's not only just for your vendors, it's actually for your team. Because it is about inspiring your team through this challenging market. Now, there's undoubtedly those people that really nail it now will get market share.
Yeah,
and they will capitalize into the future. And it really it's building a foundation in their business that'll be very, very difficult to shake. And that's what the great thing. So look at the challenging market as an opportunity as opposed to something 100%. To panic about. So it's quite, it's a great market to be in. I mean, I'm sure everyone's heard, this is going to make, what does Warren Buffett say? We won't go,
No.
Warren Buffett says, when the tide goes out, that's when you realise when everyone's been swimming naked. So it's a really valid point. So in your price adjustment system, it is actually putting a process in place that's giving confidence to your team to be securing listings and then making sure that we're doing the right thing by the vendor. This isn't about getting the vendors real or educated in the wrong sense. It's about actually
it's doing the right thing.
It's doing the right thing by the vendors
to get the maximum result.
Exactly, because we know that the longer a property sits on the market without those critical conversations is going to be detrimental to the end result, and which is to our clients. So that's number two. So price adjustment system for two reasons.
And training.
One, I'm training on the price adjustment system and your scripts and dialogues and so forth.
Training across the board, I reckon, now that, it's more than ever. As things are shifting in the marketplace, this is where you've got to be on top of your game. So training across the board, training, even, your listing presentation, everything that you've been doing for such a long time, you might have to tweak it, you might have to change it a little bit. So it's just evaluating all of those things that you're doing. And this is a good time as well, because it's the end of the year. A lot of people take holidays around Christmas time, so this is a good time to, to have a look at all those things.
So another component is bringing the team together and making sure that that team environment is there and that energy, that people are surrounded by energy. And that is
the camaraderie
and talking about their challenges in the marketplace and how they're dealing with buyers, how they're dealing with vendors. So there's got to be more what we call quick chats.
Yeah.
And it all starts with a leader. It all starts from the sales meeting.
So really bringing back in your Wednesday, or our Wednesday meetings, what we've done is we brought back training every Wednesday rather than just once a month. And just doing all those little bits of extra that you need to do, all the time in regards to the training.
Yeah, it's getting back to the basics.
Yeah,
I mean, we all know what we need to be doing. And sometimes when we get into that place of comfort and the cash is rolling in and sales are really, happening and everyone's excited, there's a shift in energy, but it all is going to stem from the leader and how you handle that shift to make sure it's not diluted.
Yeah.
I think it's really important to understand that the energy that you're going to bring to the office as a leader will have a significant impact to the balance of the team.
Yeah. Another thing that we talk about as well is, do those events more often. Even if cash is a little bit tight, you can do, just a pizza night at the end of the month at the office. It's not that expensive, but it brings the team together and bring the families together. Breakfast, morning sessions once every now and then instead of just, your normal meeting. Just those little things make a huge difference. Another thing that we do is obviously we're a company that we share our stock lists and we do cross-sell. We're very big on that. One of our lines is list with one, sell with all. And I think in this market, I think 3 out of 7 of our deals are conjunctional with any of our offices. So, a Mornington office might list the property and then our Mount Eliza office might sell it, or Frankston. Doesn't matter where the buyer comes from. At the end of the day, it's just doing the right thing by the vendor. And I think it's more important than ever now for the team to be working together, looking at each other's stock lists and making sure that they're introducing buyers.
Well, and working...
caravan, bringing caravan back, the physical caravan that we used to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. So that's probably summarising something that obviously many agencies are facing. Again, look at it as an opportunity as opposed to a challenge. As I said in one of my sayings, volume is vanity, profit is sanity, and cash is king. So those 3 components really need to be addressing whilst we go through this. And always remember, sales is a life cycle, and we're just going through one part of that life cycle at the moment. It will change before we know it. We'll be back to what did Tom say? A nuts market.
Yeah.
And we won't know what to do with ourselves. But thank you for watching again, and we look forward to seeing you at next week's episode.
On the Couch with M&M is proudly brought to you by my admin partner, the specialist in real estate trust accounting, and Beyond Figures Bookkeeping, the professionals in real estate financial administration.